first presidential debate. Outnumbered overtime.
Oh, yes, it is that exciting. See, I would make fun of you and think you were silly, but it is that exciting and more.
Thank you. It's okay if you think I'm silly. How about we get serious?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, so there is legitimate question about which of the candidates will show up. Will it be the on-message, disciplined, I almost said Howard Kurtz.
Next
election, Harris.
Or will it be the unexpected, authentic? His camp says a mix because it's all authenticity. And then there's a question about Hillary Clinton. You know, will she pull the woman card? Will she not? So Howard Kurtz as Donald Trump, Kennedy as Hillary Clinton for a mock debate with serious issue questions. In the spin room will be Melissa Francis and Eboni K. Williams. Maybe we'll find out what the K stands for this trip. I don't know. Who are you going to be this week?
I am Kellyanne Conway.
And who are you? For the Clinton side, anybody?
I'll be...
Or just somebody who was watching?
Whatever, yeah.
You want to be Eboni?
I will. Yes.
I like her.
I like her too.
Okay, here we go. So I asked for serious questions. Ooh, my goodness gracious.
See, I asked on
So this is
Twitter
going to take
as well.
a minute to render these because there are 9,000 people sending questions right now. So I'll just ask the first one. I'll open with this. Wait.
It was allowed.
Hold on.
Oh.
Here we go. Patrice P. Let's see. Candidates, what is the single largest factor for why long-term poverty has not been eliminated, particularly our major cities throughout the country after a half-century of war on poverty? Go, Mr. Trump.
I alone can answer this because, you know, I went to the best schools. I wrote a best-selling book. I built a great business, a fabulous business. And if you've seen the polls lately, we are really coming. Okay, poverty. Now, I've been reaching out to the African-American community. I have been going to the inner cities, and I believe that I, on my first day in office, will knock poverty down, will kick poverty's butt. Can Hillary Clinton say that?
I don't know. Hillary, can you?
I am going to reanimate Lyndon Johnson and show you that our government programs will eradicate poverty. The problem is we don't have enough government. Now, please don't pay attention to facts. Don't pay attention to the $19 trillion deficit or debt, rather, we have in this country. Don't pay attention to the fact that we've got more people on food stamps than before President Obama took office by 38%, or that home ownership is down, or that wages have been stagnant, or that colleges are run like cartels. We need more government. More people need to be members of unions because unions, as you know, donate to Democratic campaigns, as do the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. Thank you, guys.
I don't have a rebuttal, Lester, because she's killing herself.
I'm Lester, by the way. Apparently. I'm suddenly Lester.
You got so much more attractive.
All right.
Let's go to the spin room.
Sure.
On the spin room, I think what Donald Trump was trying to tell you there is that Democratic policies have not worked in cities against poverty. And that's what we see again and again, that you have to unleash the American entrepreneur, that this idea of taking so much money out of everyone's paycheck and reallocating it isn't a way to impact individuals and to empower them to make their own fortune. We also have somebody get Hillary a glass of water there.
Be nice. Be nice.
There we go.
Okay.
I think that's what Donald Trump was trying to say.
And what
Eboni?
Mrs. Clinton was clearly articulating was that while there's been a 50-plus-year-long rhetorical war on poverty, it has not been taken seriously by any administration. And so, as the first woman...
No, that's what she wishes she'd said.
Right. And as the first woman president of the United States of America, it will be my business to make sure that I look out for the women, children, and men of this country that so desperately need our attention.
Donald Trump hates children.
MOS, wait until the question is asked, Miss Clinton.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm so excited to get in there and lead and just take control.
MOS 18A asks, will you strongly support a balanced budget amendment with no loopholes? Ms. Clinton.
The only loophole I would like to see is loopholes eradicated in our federal tax code so everyone pays their fair share. I think people need to pay a lot more taxes, especially the billionaires. And then we need to craft new programs around that new income and just keep spending money. Because that's how we're going to help people. And that will naturally balance the budget because when you raise taxes and raise spending, it's completely balanced.
Mr. Trump.
I'm leading in Ohio by a lot. Have you seen the latest polls? All right, talking about
what difference does it make? No one reads polls.
We've already heard that line.
All right, on question here: loopholes, balanced budget.
We won't need a balanced budget amendment in the Trump administration because there's too much government, and I am going to cut it. I am going to hire the best team, the best experts, the best minds, like I do in my business.
Mr.
No
Trump,
coughing
continue.
breaks.
And we're going to get rid of a lot of these programs. We're going to root out the waste, fraud, and abuse, except for Social Security and Medicare, which I have vowed to protect, even though they cost a lot of money.
Spin rate. Let's go to Eboni first.
Well, Mrs. Clinton was really pointing out the gross inequality amongst how people pay their fair share in this country. And she's going to make sure that it is on her watch that the wealthiest among us indeed pay their fair share to ensure that we all have a fair fighting chance of success.
And it is a rose gold Rolex for those people.
There you go.
Spin room, please.
I think Mr. Trump very cleverly articulated the idea that government is way too huge and we've just got to cut it down to size. And once you get that in check, you don't need a balanced budget amendment because we're shrinking the size of government, although I kind of think you do need a balanced budget amendment.
I want to follow up on this with another question about balanced budgets and all the trillions that we owe, and just ask a question about funding for our military. Mr. Trump, I'm going to start with you. This is my own question, as Lester
I
Holt
just had a moment where I'm like, can you moderate that?
Thank you.
Great question.
So with regard to military spending and the sequester and the need to do some shoring up for the numbers of military members, we know that we want to deploy more around the world just based on the recent call for bigger footprint in places like Iraq. What are your thoughts about paying the military members and the budget?
That is a typical question from the disgustingly dishonest media, but I'm going to answer it anyway because that's why I'm here. Look, I am going to have the biggest, baddest military. We are going to seize the oil. We are going to kick ISIS's butt. And even though that is expensive, I am going to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. Did I say that already?
No.
And in other parts of the government so that we can be America standing tall. But at the same time, unlike Hillary Clinton, who voted for the Iraq War, I was opposed to the Iraq War. You can't find it, but I was. I told Sean Hannity. Even though Hillary Clinton was opposed to the Iraq War, I am not going to get America involved in every foreign conflict around the world. We cannot be the world's policeman.
Ms. Clinton, with all due respect, I want to follow with Mr. Trump. Aleppo. Mr. Trump?
That's you,
I want
baby.
to follow with you.
You're looking at me for. I'm not Gary Johnson.
But I want to stay with where you are and making our footprint the greatest military in the world. How do you deal with Syria?
Syria was a disaster, and it happened on the Clinton-Obama watch. Everybody knows it was a disaster, and this is the kind of thing that we have to avoid in a Trump administration. Now, we can't let huge numbers of Syrian refugees in to threaten our own shores. But at the same time, I think if we work with Russia, wouldn't it be nice if we could cooperate with Vladimir Putin for a change? I think we could get it done in Syria. I'm about getting it done. I'm a closer. I close deals.
Wow. You know what? That was
very convincing.
Exactly what I think he would say. That was
I think
amazing.
that was it.
All right. So the moderator now also commenting on.
Can I
style.
comment? Can I say something? What, do you want to get him a pillow?
Mrs. Clinton,
Yes.
I want to start with the original question, and that is about the follow-up to paying for the military, the size and the scope of the military as you see it, and having a budget for that.
Yeah, you know what? Freedom isn't free. And there's absolutely no way we're going to mastermind all of these wonderful interventions that I want to spearhead across the Middle East. You know, Libya was an appetizer. We got a lot of unfinished business in places like Yemen and Syria. You say that Syria is a disaster. Well, you know, that's where the president and I diverge, because he drew this red line. And I was happy to tap dance my stilettos all the way to the other side and on Assad's throat.
May I step in, Mrs. Clinton? Are you saying that you and President Obama did not agree on how to adjudicate the red line with regard to
we agreed
Syria?
about the red line. That line for me could have been no redder, but unfortunately the president didn't want to take my advice and actually intervene militarily in Syria. I believe that I could have led the world and revolutionized the face of the map. It takes a village to raise a child, and I want all of these villages to be my democratic version. I want to impose my moral view on the entire Middle East. And it's going to be expensive, but it will be worth it.
I want to get the spin room. Yeah. Spin room, please.
I think that Donald Trump would want to ask Hillary Clinton, does that mean, you know, if you took out Assad at that point in time, would ISIS be stronger or weaker at this point? I mean, getting rid of another dictator is how we got into so many messes in the first place.
Well, as I have said time and time again, even though I say the opposite thing oftentimes, that I think those rebel forces would have risen up from the ashes of that Syrian civil war and annihilated.
What you hear Mrs. Clinton talking about is her dear friend Barack Obama and how she'd pick up the baton where he left it and continue to increase the pay of our men and women that bravely serve our country.
Sure. You know what? These are some serious questions, and they were coming mainly from our audience, and we appreciate it. Howard, always good to have you. I think
great to be here.
I think you'll never forget this moment.
That is true in many ways. Make America great again.
Our friends and viewers on Facebook Live,
I'm with
we
her.
appreciate it, and on our Outnumbered Overtime page. Thank you. Have a great day.